Hi, everybody. This is James M. Prague, and welcome to Soul Care Thursdays. Dun, 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 dun. So I've decided, as I mentioned at the end of last year, beginning of this year, that I want to do another day with you because Mondays just wasn't enough. So I'm going to do Thursdays as well as Monday. And when I first started doing Soul Care was when the pandemic first started, and it was really hard for a lot of people, and because it was a lot of fear there thrown out to the universe, to everybody. I wanted a place for people to go where it was happy and joyful and loving and a community to form to talk about higher minded things. So that's why I put Soul Care together. I did it for 5 days a week, and it was a little too much after a year, so I just did it one day. But now on Thursdays, Mondays are so successful as far as the response from people, how much they loved it. They love the community, and it's built a great community. And I thought, we should do another night, another day. And a lot of people have always asked about my courses and my school, because my school is, I think it's probably one of the best schools out there. I've looked on the internet, and I'm trying to find something comparable, and I can't. And I've really looked everywhere, but anyway, I found my school is very much its own, and I want to talk more Thursdays, more kind of intense about certain courses. So each week I will talk about a specific course and give you details about it. And if it sounds good to you, and you sound like it resonates as something you want involved in, perfect. So I want to welcome you all here for Thursday Soul Care Thursdays. We're going to have a new opening and a new ending. Ryan's working on that, and Ryan is behind the curtain right now as a producer because our friend Renee is out visiting his family in Amsterdam. So I want to say thank you, Ryan. And I want to welcome everybody. Aubrey, nice to see you, Aubrey and Louise. I'm going to see the name. I'm Amy Brown, of course, recognize. Sherry Kraft, yes. And if you want to write in and say you're brand new to this, that would help me too, to know that I'm reaching new people and that we're because I do one thing, but I also leave it up to you guys to help spread the word about everything spiritual, about this work, and about Monday nights, both sides and beyond, and all this great community that we've created. So if you're new, let me know. Hello from Germany, Tanta. I remember you, of course. Hi, Mary. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Bonnie. Nice to meet you. See you again, Louise Johnson. So I get to know you by your names, of course. Yesterday was very interesting. I haven't been on the public eye on television in quite a while, but I went to Home Goods yesterday. I think you all know about Home Goods. I'm not sure in Europe you have Home Goods, but I was walking around trying to find these pillows. And a lady came up to me, and I was waiting in line to cash out. And she said, you look an awful lot like James from Prague. And I said, that's probably because I am James from Prague. And she kind of freaked out. And Ginny, her name is Ginny. I know she's here today, but she said, "Wow, that's so weird. I had like a dream this morning that I was going to meet you, but she said I was going to go to the bookstore called Soul Care in San Diego, and I thought maybe I'd meet you there." And she goes, "And of all places, here I am at Home Goods." And I said, "Well, you're psychic. There you go, Ginny." It was really, really nice, and I really appreciate people coming up to me and telling me thank you for the work I've been doing or the books I've written, because you do these things and you never, not that I need the feedback, but it's nice every once in a while to know you're reaching people. And it's so nice here in this communities from everyone coming in, being part of it. James Emperor, yes. So I wanted, let's see, Colleen, hello. Thursday's topic sounds great. Will help spread the word. Thank you. Hi, I wanted to say hello to Drea Lopez. Hello, how are you? Nice to see you. It's going to take a little bit for people to get the notification, of course, that and get used to it. Thursdays is also soul care. So that's fine. So I thought I would thank you, Patricia. I love you too. Back at you, sweetheart. I wanted to talk today about a course which has touched a lot of people's lives and changed a lot of people's lives. And I will only talk about those courses on Thursdays that really affect people in different ways. And if it helps you to look at it later on and to register if you want, feel free to. It's just to give an overall, because a lot of people have asked me, sent me emails, and said, "Can you tell me a little bit more of the course?" So that's what I'm doing. So today I'm going to talk about my spiritual life certification coaching course. And it's a course which you don't have to have any background in life coaching, because I start at the very, very beginning and then kind of graduate to more advanced kind of lessons, if you will. So I want to talk about that because it has really helped to change a lot of people's insights, perspectives, and really opened the doors for people to live really a life without regret, or if I can say, a life, a mindful life, that they're more aware of things that they say, how they think, how they treat people. And I talk about that a lot, of course, on Mondays, but I created a course where people can use these tools every day in life in order to be more mindful about the energy that comes out of their mouth, and the actions, and also what they think of themselves, how they think of themselves, what that relationship is with ourselves, our spiritual selves. Because remember, we are souls having a human experience, not the other way around. And if we can change our way of thinking and kind of reprogram, if you will, for some of us, reprogram the ways we were raised and how we were looked at and things we thought were important, but we find aren't really important. Because remember, things that are important to someone else might not be for you. Even your family, even your parents, even friends or partners say, you got to do things this way. No, you don't. You do them your way. You are a unique individual. So the course, the Spiritual Life Coach Certification course, today is a day of registration, and it's Living a Life Without Limits. And I'm just going to go over the bullet points of the course for people. A lot of my clients over the years and from the spirit side of life have talked a lot about regrets. Have talked a lot about should haves, would haves, and could haves. And I really got tired of hearing should have, would have, could have, that I had to do something to help them not have that in the life. So I developed not only this course for that, but also I wrote a book called Unfinished Business. And it's all about having those should haves, would haves, or could haves. And I used a lot of that book into this course. I've been really embedded a lot of it in here. So I'm just going to read you what I have here. I designed this course to support students from all walks of life, all life skill course, really what it is. And all levels of skill, which means it's not just for people who want a professional coaching, but it's how to live well, tools to live life. And it's perfect for spiritual seekers who long to create more meaningful parts of their lives. For instance, I feel, for me personally, I look back at my life and I lived a life well lived. I look back and say, I have a very successful life, not monetarily, not knowing, being known, but what I've done, how I've helped people, how I've changed the energy with certain people, with certain situations, how we look at things, how we open up people's eyes or people's minds by maybe just saying a few words here and there in a grocery store and wherever it is. And people start thinking. If you can cause someone to start thinking in a different way or question something in a different way, then you've done your job because you've opened up that sense of discovery. Ooh, I wonder about that. So that's very interesting. It's also for awakened souls who want to turn their struggles into power. A lot of people get caught up in victimhood. A lot of people get caught up in, wow, how would God have done this to me? Oh, I can't handle this. It's too much. I always say that the hardest lessons that our souls come back on this earth to learn are the ones that will expand our growth the most. That we say that the hardest lessons on earth are reserved for advanced souls. So, and that old saying of God never gives us more than we can handle, I do believe that. I do believe we do sign up before we enter this vibration, this physical world, and we sit with our guides and teachers and loved ones and go through our curriculum, if you will, and see what we have to do, what lessons we have to take, what situations we have to put ourselves in to grow, to understand, to be more aware. So it's very, very interesting. So I talk about that a lot in the course as well. It's also for evolved beings who feel called to do work that feeds their soul and help others. So those are 3 points that really the course is about. The first one, it's the lesson one is called Finding Your Light. And what it is, it's making an inspired life. Uh, and I do feel you first have to understand your soul's journey and reawaken that guiding light within you. And when I say reawaken that guiding light, I'm talking more like when you were a child. And I go back to an exercise when you were a child and you were free. Because as children, we're very open. We're fun. We're joyful. We just want to play. We want amusement. And that's why I love my doggie. And I think doggies are great. And my puppy, which is a lot of energy, but at the same time reminds me about joy. Reminds me about not taking things so seriously. Reminds me just to be uniquely who I am and do things in my life that are passionate. You have to have that light of passion in everything you do. So lesson one, finding your inner light. It's discovering how to do a personal inventory, which sets the stage for spiritual transformation. So it's really about assessing your life, right? Come to understand how childhood programming is impacting you today. Remember that because we are products of our childhood. And I always think that, our mothers, our fathers, the adults, the teachers, they can only do with what they knew. And if we had adults, parents that in some ways were limited, then they couldn't show us certain things. For instance, my grandmother had a British grandmother, English grandmother, and in her generation, they didn't show emotion. It was funny. I was watching an interview with Harry last night, and he talked about that the British known, and it's true, the British known not showing emotion. And he talked about how that was damaging to him. My father, her son, my grandmother's son, he never really was great at showing love to me, never demonstrating love. I got along really well with my grandmother. I just got really well, but my father really couldn't demonstrate love. And for years, it's like, why doesn't he say I love you? Why couldn't he demonstrate love? Because he was never taught love. He didn't know what that was. So we could say he was limited in that respect. And we start expanding our minds and wow, this is their background. This is how they grew up. You'll understand why certain things were presented to you in that way. So that's just the assessment of your childhood. And that's one of the points of that lesson one in your inner light. Rediscover parts that are lost within yourself, parts that you've forgotten, parts that you put aside, whether it's based on fear or what other people think. It's really a lot of issues which we've buried since childhood because we wanted to have that, that love, if you will, from someone else. So it's an assessment of that. And really it's about also reconnecting with who you truly are and your soul self, your inner truths of what's important to you. How do you look at life? What do you want to accomplish in your life? I think once you start knowing who you are, you certainly can begin the right path for yourself. And you don't have to be, you can't be too old to start. It doesn't matter how old you are to reconnect with your true self. You want to do it while you're still walking on this physical earth. You do not want to wake up in the spirit world and say, oh, wow, I had all these wonderful opportunities and I didn't take advantage to learn who I was. I promise you, the more you learn who you are, the happier your life will be. And the more you live your unique patterns of who you are, your own life, you'll be happy. No one can live your life for you. You got to live in yourself. And what other people think of you is none of your business. So that's a big one. And that's throughout the course, I talk about that. Um, lesson two is called Clear the Cobwebs That Weigh You Down. We all know about those. So, in order to make changes and to help others do the same, we first must set ourselves free, if you will, from all the thoughts and clutter that hold us back, that hold us in the past. So it's letting go of past hurts, past traumas, understanding where they came from, understanding why we're holding on to them. We don't need to. What purpose are they serving? So it's getting really involved in letting go of that excess energy that we're holding on to. Imagine when you have this energy holding on to the past situations or behaviors or not being able to forgive or hurting or don't liking someone, that energy that goes in there, that holds you back. If you're using the energy to hold that stuff back, you're not using it to create new things in your life, new situations, new opportunities, new fun, new enjoyment, new experiences. So just think about that. So break free of the psychic vampires that will deplete you. So I said this the other day in my Soul Care on Monday that, when we're that full of light, when we're a lot of empaths out there, a lot of you are probably you're all empaths, that there are those beings, those souls who unconsciously maybe will attach themselves to you and try to become friendly. And they might not even know why, but in many cases, they need your light. They need your power. They want your power. And it could be family, it could be coworkers, it could be friends. And there comes a point where you feel that they're not genuine or they're not authentically 50-50 giving you back. I just talked about this recently on my show. I had to get rid of a lot of people I thought were my friends. And also family members too, that are just depleting me, that are pulling me down. We want people to support us, not pull us down. Life is too short. Life is too short. I went through two divorces for that reason too. They were not, we came together, souls come together for a season, reason, or lifetime. And there came a point where our souls came together, and I think they were karmic as well. Most are karmically connected, but it was at a point where the karma was done, was finished, and you could tell, and then he goes holding on to it for no reason. If you're both not getting something out of it, it's time to move on, experience life in other ways. Life is too short. You got to respect life. So I go into a whole bunch of stuff about letting go of the past and letting go of how to release anxiety and depression through learning about proper mindfulness. So that's on lesson two. And there's a lot more about transforming negative experiences in your life and fueling that to the future. Okay, so that's lesson there we go. Another one is discover your life soul purpose. A lot of people have asked about this, your soul purpose and how to discover your soul purpose. I cover that extremely well, I might say. I'm just going to read this here. You weren't meant to lead an ordinary life. Your lessons you learned, your struggles have uniquely equipped you to do something meaningful now. Now it's time to discover what you're destined to be and do. This is truly riveting. It's a truly riveting lesson. And yet there's some deep diving here to your purpose. What is your purpose? I do some regression work. I get you down to the core of your soul self. through various exercises, try to who you are, what's important to you, what's not important to you. And people have told me they have a really, after that lesson four, discovering your soul's purpose, they have a real clear indication of, wow, what was I holding on to this stuff? That's not who I am. That was to please somebody else. And it's a freedom, it's an emancipation. So it's a good one. Discover your soul self, discover your true calling, and find out how to design your life around it. Break free of settling for meaningless work and create a new job that feeds your soul. How many of us are in jobs, positions that would just pay the bill, that mean nothing? That's not feeding your soul. You want to do a job, work that feeds your soul, whether it's serving people in some way. I worked for the hospital for 5 years, and I worked in all different departments because they kind of like my personality, I guess. But I went through all, and it was just started as a temp job. But I think I brought joy or fun or made the situation fun, whether I was in the human resources department, the emergency room. I kind of tried to bring up the energy up. And that was before I did anything mediumistically. It was just, I wanted to have passion or fun with every day, and no matter what the job was. But I think it's important that we have a job, have a career that we love, that we do something we love. Um, I was thinking social service work I would do. This is kind of a social service work, but I think helping people that way is great. Helping animals, I think, is great. I probably would be doing that if I didn't do social service work. So, anyway, finding out your true soul's purpose, release other people's opinions about how you should live your life. Major one, right? Let's see. And then, oh yes, I forgot about this. I did this. Experience Jane's powerful heart singing process. Yes, heart singing. It's the whole process of your heart learning to sing from your heart. Sing, be joyful. I can smile if I walk outside my house in my garden, or even if I go to the home goods or I go to the market, and I just put a smile on my face. Why? Because I think I like the art of discovery. You never know what's going to happen, and if you have a positive energy about who you are and you love who you are, things are not, let's say, perfect. I'd like to be 6'2", but I'm 5'5" and shrinking. And I'd like other things, of course. We all would. But we got to deal with what we have now and enjoy what we have now and make it the best we possibly can. The spirit world always say, make the best of every situation. That's all we ask of you in your life. Try to do the best you can, even with people that are hard to deal with. And believe me, I'm going through some hard stuff now with people out there in the professional world and so forth. But you know what? I just got to be myself. And I step back and I use an observation mode. It's like, let them act out their drama. I'm going to be sitting in the audience watching the drama. I'm not going to become a part of the drama, but I will watch it. I'll observe it. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be pulled into it. So that's really a bit lesson four, discover self as part of that. Lesson five is how to get where you are from where you are to where you want to be. Because again, life is so short. I'm still finding my way. Mary, you found your way here, baby. So you're found your way. So it should be living every day. We should live every day as if it's our last day. We really should. We should find the joy in every single day. So, and I highly recommend journaling. I love journaling at the end of the day, sitting down like 10 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night or after dinner and just writing down your day's experiences. And you should do that every day. And then after a while, a couple of months, you look back and you see how you progressed or how you live your life. And it's easier to see the patterns you lived, what's important to you. So I really recommend that highly. Yeah, please, you should do that. I'm thinking about something. I have a lot of journals in my garage. I'm thinking about giving them to everyone who takes this class. I'm thinking, how would I send them to everyone? Okay, lesson five. Discover a powerful method of breaking free and moving forward, as we talked about. I have different exercises about getting free from what you think you know to what you do know, right? I'm looking at questions here too. I remember years ago, this is from Life is a Mindset, Lorraine. Okay. I remember years ago, I saw you at one of the seminars in Thousand Oaks. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. The last one I did at Thousand Oaks was a really amazing one. I brought through Harry Nielsen, the musician. And it was very interesting because I brought through there's a man here, he writes jingles. There was a girl to my right side. I guess it was his niece. And she said, oh, yes, that was Harry Nielsen, the famous writer. I said, oh, okay. And the next reading was a boy that came in for his mom. And the boy on the other side of the audience said, I'm here and I'm learning guitar. And the mom said, he always wanted to learn guitar. I bought him a guitar. He was taking lessons. I said, well, he's learning now. I said, oh, wait a minute. This is really weird. Harry Nielsen is one of his guides. He's teaching him guitar. Weird how things work together. And then I'm doing a book signing afterwards, and I'm sitting doing a book, and the lady comes up to me and she said, "That was wonderful about Harry Nielsen." I said, "Yeah." She goes, I was the 911 operator that received a call of his heart attack. I'm like, "What?" So that's my Thousand Oaks story. Isn't that wild? So thank you very much, Lorraine, for remembering that. Oh, gosh. Okay, so here we go. So, I want to talk about lesson six, the ultimate key to having it all, co create with spirit. God says yes. We humans say no. We're supposed to have everything we want in life. Everything we want in life is supposed to have. We're meant to. We are God. We all are God, but that God force, that God energy. Let's say we're fragments of that beautiful God energy. It's so funny with religions, personally speaking, my own opinion, that I think all religions have bits of the truth, but not any one religion has all the truth. And I think that if that religion or the mindset, I think its most important job is to ignite the inner flame within you, to ignite that God spark within you. And that's what I think religions are supposed to do, remind us of that God spark and then set us free. That's what I think it's about. I think that, but if there are religions or mindsets, again, they're controlling you, not good. I don't think they should. I really don't. Thanks to the cults and thanks to mind control and all that junk. And that's unfortunate that happens. So let's do the opposite of that, right? Let's do the opposite of that. So the God spark. The spirit world always says yes. And we just get caught up sometimes in the human mindset, which is limitation and fear based. Remember, fear is an emotion of the human side, not the spirit side. Spirit is full of love, and love is that sense of one, omnipresent, nurturing energy. And love God is creating, always and always, always creating. It might not come the way you think it should be or the way you want it, but it will come. I remember I wanted to be known for it. I want to do sitcom writing. That's why I moved out to California. I have a degree in broadcasting from San Francisco State. And in some weird way, as it always works out, I was brought to California to do a TV show, promised a job on a TV show, Hill Street Blues, by a producer, and it never happened. And I was stuck in Los Angeles all by myself. I had no money. I barely had a car that ran. I had no place to live. I was really going to sell my blood at one point. It was really tough. But I knew in some strange way I had to be here. It was way before the psychic thing started. And I went through it. I got strong, and I always could laugh at myself. And at one point, I swear to God, it was the second day, I think it was in LA. I was on the street, Gower Street, where the sign for Hollywood is. And I'm looking up there saying, is this some kind of a cosmic joke that I'm stuck here? I don't know anyone. And what am I supposed to do? And I knew that I had to find some work. So I started doing temporary jobs. And that started my path, really. And it's through that, temporary jobs at hospitals, law offices, advertising places, a dock work, warehouse work, that I had the most fun experiences, no matter what job it was. And it's through there I met someone who introduced me to a medium that predicted my work. And that's as I say, that's history. But I've met a lot of different types of people in that type of work, and I got to know myself better. So it's really, really interesting that everything happens for a reason. We never know what's going to happen. And now I'm a writer, but I'm not a sitcom writer, but I'm funny, and I made a living through writing and also spiritual work. Come on, it's even better than I thought. So I always believed in myself because when I was a kid, I'm sure a lot of you too, same thing. No one really believed in you or knew you, or you feel like you're a weirdo. You feel like you don't fit in. Hello. So take it from me. You're here because you're meant to be here. You're here because you're a unique piece of the puzzle. And you've come back to this space, this time and space, this particular time and space, because you have important work to do. And even if you don't think you do, you do. You wouldn't have just come down here just nonchalantly. You're here for a very specific reason. And you don't have to worry about getting it done today. You really should be more concerned with getting into your heart self, understanding your soul self. And this is why this course is important to get you back into that space. It gives you an opportunity to understand who you are as a soul and then restart your life. That's why I have to talk to you about this. Okay. Lesson six, the ultimate key to having it all. We talked about it yet. Feeling profoundly protected and loved. I got to tell you something. I never feel like I'm doing this alone. I never feel like I'm living life alone. I never feel it. And you could say, well, you have spirits around you. Well, I don't feel them all the time because it's mediumship is you have to turn yourself on to that awareness and you close down. But in an everyday life, when I'm walking around, I feel them around me. I feel them covered by people taking care of me. We all are, not just me as a medium. We all are. No one walks alone. Everybody has a whole company with them, and we have guides who work with us to get the highest aspects of our soul on this earth to do our life's work, to go through our lessons and graduate successfully. So you're never alone with it. Um, so also in the course, in lesson 6 of Co-Create with Spirit, learn how to get instant spiritual guidance anytime and anywhere. So when you're in tune with your soul self, when you're in tune with your soul self, you can start communicating with your soul self. You can start hearing, feeling. Now, mediumship, little different, but similar in that you're connecting with a soul self. And in mediumship, what I first do when I work is connect with my soul self. So I sit for a while before I do any readings and I connect with that soul self. I do that by, as I mentioned before to a lot of you in my Monday soul care, I sit in the silence, and I sit in the silence at least twice, 3 times a week in the closet, and I sit in a complete silence, and I just connect with my soul self. And I look at things that I'm working on, where I'm at right now, things that are important, and I became very, very aware. It's so interesting. I became very, I just say everything to you. I became very, very aware in this process as we're sitting in the silence about how much people's crap, people's stuff is around me. And it's like, wow, it's all floating around me. And I'm very aware that energy is not mine, that's someone else's. Whether it's someone thinking about you, whether it's what's little things going on. I realize and I'm able to separate my true essence from the other people's stuff. And that's really important to be able to discern between your own stuff and somebody else's. Because a lot of us tend to live other people's lives and live other people's energy without even knowing it or thinking about it. So it's really, really important to have that discernment. So I talk about that in really strong in lesson 6. Lesson 7, the coach's toolbox for inspired life. Okay, so lesson 7 is a fun lesson. It's really kind of fun. I leave it really fun and joyful and happy. And in most of my workshops, we end up dancing because I do a whole dance thing because people are joyful and people want to dance. They want to have fun, right? So in lesson 7, the coach's toolbox for inspired life, I teach you several profound tools that can make you make a huge difference in your life of success and happiness. Now, this also I'm going to say is that you get so enthusiastic at this that you're going to want to share it. So you'll want to use this and help people. And with this, you can go into life coaching immediately. But I wouldn't say just life coaching, as a spiritual life coaching. The big difference between life coaching and spiritual life coaching. Remember, it's always the intent behind the act. And the intent of this is opening up spiritually, soulfully. So we go soul life course too. So it's helping people to open up their soul self. You can't hit them over the head. You just sprinkle a little bit of seeds here and there, and they'll get it. But I give you methods and ways of how to open other people up with that. Let the secret method of quickly making the right decision. Learn what's right for you. That choice, you'll know exactly what resonates as truth, and you'll know exactly what does not resonate as truth. You'll be able to do it very easily. I do it right away. I'm down to my core. I'm like, oh, I know this down to my core. Discover how to stop procrastinating and get into action. Hello, because life could be over tomorrow. Do today what you can't do tomorrow. If today was your last day of living, what would you do? First thing I would do is say, those people that I haven't forgiven, I'd say, I forgive you. Send them a letter, send them love, send them flowers, do anything you can, an act of love, because it'll help you, okay? I love this one. It's a bullet point. Get a script for saying no to anything. So I have you actually write a script where you usually stay up and say no. You set your boundaries, and the title is no. So you do that. It's a good one. And find out is a very important one. Find out how to quickly release fear. You don't need it in your life. It can be a motivator if it's in a positive aspect, but otherwise it can hold you back. It can hold you back. You do not want to live the rest of your life in fear. Please don't. Look at the world around you, man. It's great. It's an incredible place. Look at the ocean. I'm fortunate enough to live by the Pacific Ocean. And if I just want to remember who I am, I just go to the ocean, look out there and see, wow, how vast the expanse it is. How vast. But I know if I walked down to that ocean and I kicked the water, it would make a ripple throughout the whole ocean. I may not see that ripple after it goes out for a while, but I know that current will change because of my action. Just something to think about. Interesting. Okay. Also, find out. I use a lot of I use my intuition course. I put in this course as well about connecting with someone on a spiritual level or on a kind of psychic level, where you tune into their soul self. You're able to read them on a soulful level. So first, when you have that awareness of your own soul, you're able to tune to someone else's soul and kind of read them on a soulful level. So there's a little bit of psychic intuitive work there as well. Um, and you really learn to get in tune with their soul vibration and how what they need to empower themselves. So the hardest part of my job as a medium, I say, is I'm able to see the opportunities, the gifts, and the abilities of other people all around in their auric field, in their soul space, in their heart space, and they don't see it for themselves. So my job as not only medium, but is to help people to see their gifts, their innate gifts, and that's exactly what this does. This lesson is all about that success principles. You're able to tune into someone, and in a way I present it in a very lovely way, non-commit, not you don't confront someone. It's of a what do you think of the possibility of painting? You ever thought about artwork that might be good for you? Or how about collecting some histories? You like history? You like history? Oh, you might want to look at some history stuff. I don't know, whatever it's going to be. Have thought about writing a book, whatever it might be that you'll find. I mean, it's so cool. And then they feel right away that you know them. They get that innate sense. How did that person know me? So you're empowering them again. You're giving back their power. So it's pretty cool. So that's the course, and that's really it's opening right now. The registration. You can see the link. There'll be a link here on next to my name on the chat that you can link into the course. And it's a really good one, the spiritual life coaching course. Just started registration, so I had to bring that to you today. It's really good. Right there under my name, right there, you can tune into that link. So any questions about the course you'd like to ask me, I'd be more than happy to answer. I've been talking for a long time. Thank you, Laura. Oh, Laura. If you have any questions, put them up and we'll put them in the comments. Tanette Cauldron says, what is the difference between feeling your soul self and your higher self? That's a good question. So we're made up of many, many levels, right? So many, many levels. And so the soul, so if you can think of it this way, you can use any analogy you want. The analogy I like to use is I picture myself, physical body, but my feet here on my shoulders reaching up. So there's another part of me. So this part, this physical body, as I say, the soul, about 30%, 20% of the soul is inside the physical, while the rest, 80% is outside. It's up here, right? So that's the higher self is even higher. So many, many levels. So your higher self is the highest zenith of yourself that feeds into those lower bodies, right? And the soul self to me, so it's all can be considered the soul, right? And to me, we are the container of the soul. The soul is a container of the spirit, if you will. So the spirit, the essence of our being is in the heart, this essence. So the soul self is that awareness that we are spirit. You could say it that way. But the difference between soul and spirit to me is the soul is a container of the spirit. So here is a bottle of water. So I could say that this is a soul self, and the spirit is the water, the essence of the soul. So having a relationship with your true self, your soul self. I hope that helps, honey. Okay. Another question. Yes, registration is open right now. Go to JP School of Mystical Arts. There it is right there. Yeah. Okay. No questions. Okay. How much is the coursework? You have to look it up. It's not worth it. It's not worth the price. I mean, it's not, the price isn't, it's a lifetime change. So there's no price you can put on this course, really. I kept it very reasonable. And a lot of people said you should really raise it. You cover so much stuff. But I won't want to do that. I want to be open to everybody. So there's payment plans. There's easy ways to get in. I don't really turn anyone down. So check it out if it works for you. The most important thing is that if it resonates with you. If it doesn't, I don't want you to take it. If you don't want, it doesn't resonate with you right now, then don't. Then put it off to the side. If it feels right, then do it. If it doesn't, then don't. I'm just presenting it. Okay. Hi, Bonnie. Good to see you again, sweetheart. Mary Racha, I need this so much. I haven't been open for a while, but today I smelled, and it's a perfect time. Hello, Bonnie. It's a perfect time astrologically. My friend Kelly White talks about this right now in the new year to start new things, new spiritual growth. And she told me the day, she said, it's a perfect time for this course, start your whole way of thinking in a different way. So that's great. Any more questions about the course? Thanks, Lori. You're such a dear person. Thank you. Earth Angels. Thanks, Anne. Thanks, Anne. The courses are great, really. And I'm surprised you didn't take some courses. I thought you took some. Vicky Savage, I tried to stay away from people because they drain me. Yeah, wouldn't it be great? Well, of course, wouldn't it be great to be aware that if you step into a room, that person's energy, you're not be around it, instead of being sucked into that energy and then realizing it? With a course, you become to be aware as soon as you walk into a room, you'll know, able to know right away, because you'll feel it. You'll be programmed. You'll be made aware through the processes and exercises of how to read energy right away when you walk into a room. When you walk into a room, when you're with a person, and what works for you works for you. What doesn't, you'll learn to say no. You'll have boundaries. That's what the course does too. Patricia Neely, you're having trouble finding my courses. Sweetheart, if it's the JVP School of Mystical Arts. So if you type in www.jvp School of Mystical Arts, you'll find them. Okay. You'll have to, it's not, I don't even know the price. I think it's like $700 or something. It's worth it. I'm telling you again. I'm not a good salesman. Kimberly Bridges, I'm sorry for already said this. How many days is the course, or is it self-paced? It's self-paced, and I do check-ins on the phone with you too. So it's self-paced. I would say roughly 3 months, roughly, but you do it on your own pace. I don't push that because everyone goes different at a different pace. I usually say with all my courses, though, don't rush them. Please don't rush them. So go through one, fully get it, and then when you're ready to go to two, you'll go to two. But then I often tell people, go back after you finish, go back to the first, because you get different things. I say with my mediumship courses, my psychic course, my healing courses, and especially this course. It's a good one. Okay. Can past I don't. Can past students have access to classes, please, James? Yes, Denise. Past students can have access to courses. If it's a new course, you have to buy the course. I think you said past, right? So you can. Yes, if it's a new course, you have to buy it. But yes, you're able to. Of course, and it's not free because I put so much time and effort into it. I can't do it for free. Any thoughts on what this might be? Mel says, any thoughts on what this might be? I don't know what that means. I'm psychic, but not that psychic. Okay. Laura, hi, Laura. Good to see you again. So I'm not so good with using tarot cards. Okay. But I read people. Okay. So stop right there, Laura. So tarot cards, crystal balls, let's see what else. Scrying water, numbers, astrology charts. These are just tools to tune into the knowingness. So that's really what it's about. So you don't have to be an expert at that, but it teaches you tuning the energy. It's soul to soul energy. So an exercise I have is tuning from your soul to someone else's soul, and it's just feeling the energy. So every one of us is connected. We have the illusion that we're separate. That's the two greatest illusions we have in this world: is the separativeness and death. There is no such thing as separativeness. We're all connected, but we have to have different races and different language, different countries. Karmically, we're learning something specifically based upon that country, that heritage, so forth, and it's karmic as well. Okay. Denise, take the two courses. You'll be fine. Mel, I've noticed when I'm talking to people, whether it's out in public or home, sometimes they get a word or two that will pop in my head. The thing is, I know it isn't my thought. The next thing. So, Mel, you got to develop. You got to process and develop. And you have to learn discernment between what's coming in for me, what's real, and what's someone else's. And I have that in the course. That's course lesson number 4. Yes, part of lesson number 4. Okay. Gotta check it out. Have you ever met Lee Harris? Both you and he are teaching similar lessons. I've never met Lee Harris. Thank you, sweetheart. I'll write down the name and look up Lee Harris. Is Lee Harris in America? I don't know Lee Harris. I bet he's not as old as I am. So I'll check it out. Most people aren't. Lee Harris. It's very funny. You can find out there are a lot of mediums out there, but I was talking to my friend Ryan here. You can find people that do spiritual work or good technicians, like mediums that are great technicians, but they're not spiritual. Rarely do I find that. I found it with people that I'm working with, but I rarely find that. And I love when I find Janet Havoc was like that. Mavis, of course, Lynn Probert, Tony Stockwell, Chris Drew, Gordon, of course, Gordon Smith. Maureen Hancock here in the States. So, it's very important that for me, that you get the whole thing, not just a little great technician, but that's what you're getting. Okay. Hi, Cindy. I've been reading Unseen World. It's very interesting. I told you about, isn't it great? Yes. Isn't it great, Cindy? Yes. Life in the Unseen World by Anthony Borgia. It's one of the first books I read about life after death, life on the other side of life. So it's Life in the World Unseen by Anthony Borgia. And the second one is More Life in the World Unseen. It's kind of like, for me, a Bible about what the other side looks like, how our thoughts are created. And it really reminds me of here in this world, on the earth world, how important it is, the impressions that we have here, the impressions we make here in this world. And I gotta go back to the analogy of kicking the wave, the ocean, because those rippling effects by your words, by your actions, by your feelings, how you treat people, it all matters. It all matters. Believe me, you'll meet up again when you pass over, you'll see everything you created. Mary Rushhead, my friend Rosie Muir is in Australia. Is a spot like you. Seen me through a lot. She's yeah. So yes, very good. I'm sure she brings a lot into it. So remember, every teacher you go to brings their own experiences into it. That's something else. Okay. And the other thing I want to mention to you guys, if you're interested, is right now I'm taking registration for the second thing, which is my cruise. A lot of you heard about my cruise in August. It's the last cruise I'm going to be doing this lifetime, I believe, for right now, and it's my fourth time I'm going to Alaska. I chose Alaska because it's kind of the last frontier. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It's not expensive. You go to a lot of great ports. You do things like bobsledding. You do things like seaplanes. You go to see polar bears and regular bears up there. There's some great people. You get to meet lifetime people and see some incredible celestial sights. So I wanted to do a cruise just by myself. It's the only one I'm doing by myself. Although my friend Kelly White will be there helping me doing readings and so forth. And it's going to be an immersion into the spirit world. Now, when I say that, stepping into the spirit world, it's an immersion in that. Every exercise, every mind journey is going to be sharing the space with the spirit world. So first, introducing you how to become aware of the realms of spirit that are around us, becoming aware of the guides who are helping your teachers, your guides, connecting with them and being able to communicate with them on a daily basis. And also, again, connect with your soul group, your soul family, people that have passed over. And I'll teach you about doing more of that yourself. So you're connecting with them all the time. You don't have to go, look, where are they? You'll feel them next to you. And you won't, it's so funny because most people have the idea that in order to reach spirit, you have to really try and reach for them, like putting the hand, catching that feather, as I always say, and try for the feather. You won't catch the feather that way. You won't get a message that way. But if you open up your palm, the feather has more of a chance just to land gently on the palm. Same thing with spirit communication. Same thing with working with the spirit. So I bring you through a sensitive states, alternate states of reality, if you will, different states of consciousness. The first couple of days we do that. We learn how to leave the body with our mind very slowly, becoming aware of the space around us, becoming aware of the physical body. And it's a true immersion into the other world. And my good friend Kelly White, a lot of guys know her, she mentioned the other night on our show, Both Sides Now and Beyond, that she went on my last cruise with me and she brought a stepmother. And she couldn't, they were getting late to get to the workshop. And they were really late, like 10 minutes late. And people were already sitting down for partners for an exercise. And there were only 2 seats available. Kelly sat one place, her stepmother sat another place. And what ended up was it was an exercise where the partners talk about someone who's around them spiritually. And ended up the stepmother had a partner whose same name of the husband that died. They both had a husband that died, same name, and they had the same birthday, and they both were violinists with the same band leader at different times. Hello. So it goes to show you how really the orchestration from the spirit world works. And once we become more aware of working with them, life is a lot easier. And we have a very different perspective. So that's what the week is going to be about in the Alaska cruise. It's called Stepping the Spirit World. And it's going to be really, really an interesting time to be there. You can find out more about it on vampire.com. There it is right there. I put it in the chat room. You can check out that link. It'll bring you right to the page. It's not expensive either. It's an easy, and you're going to love it. I mean, it's the 4th time there, and you can do as much as you want as far as going. I've set it up where the workshops are when we're sailing, but then we go into ports. You're able to go to dog sleds, like I said. You're able to go to local places. Go to one pub there. It's really fun. And they have sawdust on the floor. It's really great. You can go up to the glaciers. We once took a helicopter ride to the top of a glacier and had a picnic. That's available. It's a lot of fun. So, and you got to come on that one. And come on, you have to. Don't think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. I often think sometimes you get thrown into things that if your soul likes it, it feels right to you, just do it and the money comes. I recently had to do something, and I remember what was it? Oh, I had to do something and give a lot of money away for something. I don't know what it was, but it was saying, "Oh God, a lot of." I think it was a new oven or something like that. And I was like, "Okay, this is a test because I know I'm always taken care of, or I was taken care of." And then I just let it go and released it, and you can surrender. And I surrendered, and next thing I know, I got a residual from Ghost Whisperer, which I didn't expect, and it covered the exact amount of the oven. Just saying. So things happen for a reason. I never think we're alone. They always remind us we're with you. We'll walk step and step with you. But anyway, the cruise is a great way. It can change your life. It's my 20, I think it's my 25th cruise, 24th cruise, right around there. And I do it because we're on the water and the energies it conducts beautiful negative ions and we become more sensitized too. So that's why I would only do this type of stepping the spirit, working in those levels and those realms on water because it's conducive for this type of work. Okay. Any questions you might have about the cruise, about the course? I can help you with on this day, this Thursday. It's first Soul Care Thursday, which we're going to come. I think I'm going to come up with a different name too. It's going to be called Intensive Soul Care. How's that? Mary, you need money to come. Mary, just like you visualize that I used to do is open up my roof, my house, and every night I visualize hundreds and hundreds of dollars just dropping down and going right into like a box in my bedroom, my closet, and do that. And that's how it works. I didn't come in that way, but it came in checks in different ways, what I didn't expect. The other day I got money from a book I didn't even know I did. How do you like that? I think I did it online. And I didn't realize I did that. Sometimes I got sent something from people that I met many, many years ago, and they remembered me in their will. I mean, different types of things. You never know. So just positive, creative energy. Don't come from a space of fear and limitation. Oh, I can't. Don't say that. I can. Not sure yet how, but I can do it. So that's the best way to live life. Okay. Nadine. Hi, Nadine, my love. Thank you for the lovely flowers again. Oh, thank you, Joe's. I'm currently reading Watching Over Us. All our books are made. Thank you. That's Unfinished Business in America and Watching Over Us in England. Nadine, thank you so much for the flowers. Did I ever get seasick on the cruise? Never. I got seasick once. Things learned, life coaching. Laura Essing. Things learned through life coaching cruise I literally utilized every day in our personal life. So true, Laura. That's asking questions that make us seek the art of discovery. So to answer Nadine's about the seasick, you do not, of all the places in the world I've traveled, Alaska is the number one non-seasick cruise because you're going at a slow pace. It's not fast, and you go right by the islands. So you're not out in the middle of the ocean. You kind of stay to the side of the inner, if you will, the inner channel, and it's very safe. Tahiti was a rough one. Tahiti crossing from one island to the other one, the main city Tahiti, was rough. I got sick on that one. And I was in the right front of the ship. It was like, whoa! That's the only time it's ever happened. I've traveled a lot, so but that's the Alaska one is the least. At least I never heard anyone get seasick on that. Seasick on planes, maybe. I was once seasick on a plane. I guess you call it that. But I took Dramamine. Those were in the days, 70s. Okay. Thanks, Nadine. Love you, sweetheart. Sherry, do you have vegan food and cruise? Yes. Yes, if you request it ahead of time, we'll get it for you. Um, that happens a lot, and a lot more vegan and alternative now, so that can happen. We just put ahead of time. We put it in for you, especially, and we all sit together. By the way, we sit dining room together. We do things together. We have a cocktail party. We play games. We got to clubs, so it's all one big group. Hi, Laura. I feel like Spirit's saying, just do it, the money will come. Exactly, and be replaced. Exactly, Laura. That's how I live my life. I mean, I redid my bathroom in my house. It was expensive. And I was like, well, I don't have the money, but you know what? It's going to come in. And it did. It came in like three different ways, which I didn't expect. So it does. We're always taken care of. I remember when I first started doing this work back in when I was 25, 26, whatever it was. And I remember Spirit saying when I quit Paramount Studios, a great job, a lot of money, management for syndication shows, and I was making contracts. And I remember I started doing spirits work, and I sat with Brian Hurst in development. And I remember my guides, I learned to connect with the guides and work with the guides. And when I was able to discern with them very clearly, they said to me, if you work with us, we will always take care of you. You will never be in need. You'll never be in need of anything. You'll have what you need. You won't be grand, but you'll have what you need. And I swear to you, I quit. I believe that because the work was so strong and that love was so incredible that I knew there was no other greater work to do in this earth for me at that time was this service work. And it was all word of mouth. Gosh, I was starting to do readings and I never advertised for years, all word of mouth. Then I got into TV by word of mouth. Producers came to see me, and the rest is all history. Even Larry King was word of mouth. So really, it's kind of like again a lesson about how much energy we put on finances, and realizing that we always have what we need. It'll always come in different ways, never what we expect. Life's like that too, right? You probably everyone's life right now is very different than you probably thought it was going to be, but I bet there are essences or elements of your life that indeed you did think about. Like, I never thought I'd be divorced twice. Did I think that? No, but I enjoyed each moment. Okay. Patsy, I love that you did so many jobs before you found your path. I know Patsy, right? I mean, I did so many. I moved to L. This is really weird. When I moved to LA, I was promised a job in Hill Street Blues as a production assistant because I had a broadcasting degree. And the producer promised me, and he said, "Be down here by July 7th in LA, and you have the job." I said, "Great." Didn't even ask for a phone number at the time. I was so excited. I was 18 years old. And I remember back to New York with my $3,000 I saved from doing waiting works, restaurant work. And I bought a used car for 800 bucks, put all my stuff in a car to move out to LA and be there in 5 days. My mother had a stroke. She had a really bad stroke. She couldn't speak. And I left her in the hospital and I sat down with her and I just asked her if it's okay. And I knew that she would want me to follow my dream. So I left. Now, who would do that? But I knew she'd want me to. So I came out to LA. I got to the studio, this MTM Studios, and the lady that worked there, I said, "This man told me, Anthony Yurkovich, producer, told me to come and get this job." And she said, "Oh, we don't hire people that way." I didn't have his phone number, and she wouldn't give me it. So I was stuck in LA, not knowing a single soul. My car was broken down, not having a place to really live. I found a place to live, which I did. But it got really hard. It was really, really hard. But I took all those different jobs, temporary jobs, and I made the best out of each job because I knew in the future, I just knew that something had put me out here for some reason and that it'll happen in some way, but make the best of the moment. And that's what I did. That's how I started. But a lot of variety of, and because of that, first thing as a production assistant, in those days, we used what was called the Thomas Guide. Okay. It was a map of a book. They had to open up every page. So, and I was a runner. I used to run, I used to drive scripts and legal documents from one part of LA all the way to the other part of LA, not knowing any freeways, any roads. But think about it. That was Spirit's way, perhaps, of teaching me how to get around LA, which was huge. I didn't know any other way. How would I have known it? That's how I learned how to get through LA. So if you look back at your life right now, you can see that things happen for a reason. And when things happen at the moment, you don't know why they happen, but there's got to be a bigger reason. So always remember, there's always a bigger reason. We're not shown it, but there's always a bigger reason. Okay. Hi, oh, Laura. You're so beautiful, Laura. Look at you. Someone sent me a $100 bill in the mail anonymously. All the letters said was Happy New Year. Maybe I will see you on the cruise. Yeah. There you go, Laura. So I used to envision quarters, because they dropped that. Now I envision dollars. I'm waiting for one to show up. But yes, I think if we have that sense of, and you have to get to that point also, and that's what the life coach is about, is you have to feel you deserve it, that you've earned it, you deserve it. And the coaching course is all about that. It's things can happen, but if you feel you have a good foundation and grounding that I deserve rightfully, I create and I deserve abundance, abundance, abundance. It's good to have abundance. It's good to have money, money, money. It's great. Money is great. It's wonderful for the happy life. It's great. Money to me is fabulous. The most important thing with money is what you do with it, right? Just what you do with it. And that's a lesson. It's a big lesson. And it's amazing to me to see how people react to money. It's just money's a whole big energy lesson, boy. Um, yeah, there we go. And also being in those jobs when I was a temporary job at a hospital or was delivering things, whatever, it teaches you humility. It really does. I mean, someone who comes here, if they bring something to my house, a delivery person, I cannot help but give them a thank you, a financial, like, give me something for their time and effort. I know they could pay it anyway, but just thank you for them because they really appreciate it. Yesterday, my new bed came in, and the guy said, "Oh, thanks." I gave him some money, and he said to the lady who was working here, he goes, "Oh, I can get juice with this." And then he looked at how much I gave him. He goes, "Well, I guess I can get more than juice." Interesting. Any more questions about anything? Hello, Jennifer from Sweden. Nice to have you. Well, I hope you sign up with me, my friends. And please put in your calendar every Thursday, we'll go over an intensive course. And if you want to go into school and write to me on in the Facebook page of what you'd like me to talk more about, what course you really would like me to talk more in depth about on Thursdays, just send me that on Facebook because I go Facebook every day and check. All right. God bless you all. Thank you very much. I hope to see you in the cruise or in the course. Got lots of love. Bye bye for now.